Sandra with another episode of Erogenicity. This is place to be, to have more passion, more sensuality, and more satisfaction in your dating and relationships. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, please hit the subscribe button below. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go video. Well, this video is in fact about why guys love an older woman. But as you can see, I'm pretty young with all the unicorns and cuddly toys in the background. So it's kind of a strange video. But yes, so why do guys love an older woman? Guys tend to love an older woman because older women usually know what they want. When a girl is teenager, early 20s, she doesn't really know what she wants. She's not really thinking about kids at that point in her life. She's kind of like thinking about college or university, and she's kind of like discovering about herself, about what jobs she might like to do, hanging out with friends. And, you know, she's not really looking to settle down. So with someone who's older, they usually know exactly what they want. And if you're a guy who's young but love to settle down, then you're more interested and more likely to go for an older woman because she knows what she wants and because she is happy to actually settle down, usually because she will usually have done quite a lot with her life already. But not necessarily, you know? So don't make the mistake of judging every older woman as the same, right? So that's something you really do not want to do. One of the other reasons why some younger guys like older women is because they think an older woman has their own home and, you know, and maybe they can provide some financial security for the younger guy or a home for the guy. But obviously, you know, a lot of women are very independent these days. A lot of women prefer to actually live on their own more these days than they used to. And they've kind of got their own life and lifestyle more. Some younger guys really love that because they want an older woman who's not clingy, who's not needy like a young girl might be, but who's got her own life and her own stability. And he doesn't feel like he has to take care of every single aspect of her life. Sometimes a younger guy can find that younger women around his own age can kind of be very needy of him to provide money for her and a home for her and, you know, lots of other different things. Whereas an older woman, she's usually got her own home, maybe it's rented or maybe she owns it. She's usually got her own, you know, money coming in. She's got her own stability. So therefore the guy doesn't feel like he has to provide for her as much, which can make him feel like more like, you know, that not taken advantage of, not used, and also just make him feel like he's got less pressure. A guy usually doesn't like to feel so much pressure, but when a young girl is kind of relying on him for a lot of stuff more because she's not so used to doing things on her own, she's probably lived at home with her parents, then, you know, there's kind of a much more older or mature woman would be like, you know, she's got her shit together, you know, and a younger girl might be like kind of like much more reliant on the guy. So that is a huge pressure on him. And younger guys tend to feel less pressurized with older women because they've got their own life and they're very, very established in life, right? And some guys love intelligence. And obviously, if a woman's running her own business, she's looking after herself financially, there's going to be a degree of independence there that's really going to attract him. And also, a lot of women these days are very intelligent, especially ones that have to live on their own, be single for long periods of time because they have to rely on themselves. So this makes them really good problem solvers, a lot more secure within themselves, have a much better ability to be able to make themselves happy. And these things are very, very attractive qualities to a younger guy. Also, some younger guys, they just have an older soul. And so they can't really relate to girls their own age or younger because they just don't feel they have anything in common with them. They feel like that their interests are different. They feel like even though their birth certificate ages might be similar, they feel like actually they don't have much in common with them because they might be very mature for their age. And so their maturity level is just like much higher than the young girls who are attracted to them, for example. And so they want to be able to have an older woman, to have intelligent conversations with them, to be able to get some unique life experience. The older woman they can look to as an advisor type as well, because the older woman will have had a lot more experience than a younger woman would have. So it's the older woman that they would get that experience and wisdom from, rather than a younger woman, a lot of the time, because a younger woman still has a lot of life lessons to learn, a lot of things to do, whereas an older woman, she's already got a lot of experience, and she's probably a lot more wiser in some ways, in terms of like things that have happened in her life, hardships and pain, but she's come out and learned a lot of lessons. And this can be very, very attractive and stimulating for the younger guy. Some younger guys, like I said, have just got an older soul, and some younger guys are having an older profession, or and older friends and stuff like that, and they just get on better with older people. And so I like younger guys because I get on well with younger guys and have more in common with younger guys. So I personally am the older girl, if you like, and so this is how it can work out. I find that younger guys that are attracted to me, though, I'm usually too young for them, because my personality is very, very young, and the way I live my life is very, very young. So I'm not a typical older woman. A lot of the time they expect older women to be able to cook and clean, maybe for them, and and to be kind of like pottering around the house more, and that's not who I am. I do a lot of stuff, work from home, but it's more entrepreneur writing stuff. So, and also guys that are into having sex, a lot of them, it's their fantasy to be with an older woman, because an older woman usually, in general, is a lot more experienced at sex, at sexual acts, and therefore she can show a guy or do things to a guy that a younger girl wouldn't be so experienced or know how to do, or as confident. Guys love it when they have a confident older woman take charge in the bedroom. I mean, a lot of people traditionally think the guy just likes to be the one on top of the woman and do that. Guys like to have variety. They like a woman going on top of them sometimes, and they like a strong, powerful woman, someone who can take charge of them, someone who can do things sexually to them if that's what they like and want. A guy who's really into sex and loves sex and to be sexually turned on, he wants a woman that is very strong and powerful and confident in touching his body, in knowing what makes him feel good. And an older woman will usually have had previous sexual experience to know automatically what type of thing usually turns guys on the most in that, because they've got all that experience. But obviously every guy's different, but a woman who's older usually wouldn't be afraid to explore that, because they've got experience of sex, they know what they're doing. Whereas when you are in a new relationship the same age as you, like a younger girl or similar age to you, and you haven't got much sexual experience yourself especially, it can make things really difficult for you when you first start having sex, because you don't know what you're doing. You're kind of fumbling all over the place, and you're kind of like got no guidance. You're kind of just learning it together. And sometimes that's the most fun experience, learning it together, right? It's enjoyable because you are learning about each other's bodies and exploring them whilst you're together. But some guys just want an older woman because they want the older woman to be sexually experienced enough to know what they're doing themselves and to kind of take the lead. Because some guys just don't want to keep making like all the effort all the time and doing all the work. They want to just sit back, relax, and have their woman play with them, basically. Do you know what I mean? So a lot of younger guys really think the sex with an older woman's great. And I personally am asexual in sexual orientation, believe it or not. So I'm a person who doesn't experience sexual attraction. And personally, for me, I'm not into having sex. I'm into kissing and that type of thing. So yeah, that might quite shock you considering I'm doing this channel, but this channel is all about sensuality, satisfaction and passion in the relationship, which means you don't have to have intercourse to get that, right? And so it's really amazing though how many older guys like younger women, and actually how many older guys like younger women, yes, and how many younger guys like older women. Like when I was on Facebook dating, I used to get so many younger guys into older women. The only problem is if you're an older woman who's looking for a serious committed relationship, I find that a lot of younger guys are more into having the woman for the sex specifically. And so therefore it's harder to have a serious committed relationship with a younger guy, because obviously as an older woman, the younger guy sometimes doesn't know what he wants. He's at a different life stage. He doesn't want to settle down, but he wants the stability, wisdom, knowledge, and strength of an older woman to kind of complement him. And in a way, if his life is quite chaotic and kind of all over the place, and maybe he's experiencing some emotional difficulties, if an older woman's there to understand him and to be strong and stable and secure because she's already got her life sorted out, that can actually be more attractive to a younger guy than getting a girl his own age where she's pretty much the same type of having the same type of experience as him, you know, where she kind of doesn't know what she wants to do in her career, and there isn't really stability because she hasn't moved out of home maybe yet, and or if she has, she's quite new to doing that, and you know, and she's kind of like not sure what she wants. So these are some of the reasons why guys might love an older woman. You know, and some guys just don't have an interest in girls anywhere near that age or younger because they're just not physically attracted to them. You know, they just they don't do anything for them. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of videos on YouTubers who have age gap love relationships. In the 21st century, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, so long as it's legal and consensual. Then love is love at the end of the day, and everyone should be happy. You know, I think that the some of the problems with a younger guy like an older woman, he has to be strong enough to bring her home to his parents and say, this is the woman I've chosen, if it's a long-term committed relationship. Because obviously, you know, the parents might be a bit alarmed that maybe the woman is nearly the same age as them or even older in some cases, you know. So I think in terms of my advice for a younger guy like an older women, you need to be open with your family already, and just for them to really know that you like older women, so that when you bring an older woman home with you one day to introduce her to your family, they won't be in massive shock because they'll be so used to you already telling them that. You know, I like younger guys, and so I'm always telling my parents I like younger guys. They know it now, so they don't need to, you know, worry because they know what to expect, you know. And I think that's it. I think you need to prepare your family for them accepting an older woman into your life if you love an older woman, and everything that goes with that, you know. And hopefully she'll get on really well with your parents, you know. That's what you need to do. You need to not keep them apart, because that will cause friction and barriers later on down the line in relationships. You need to be able to bring these people together, your parents and your future partner or partner if you've already got into a relationship with them. You know, you need to be building bridges between them, because the last thing you want is your parents fighting with your partner or not liking them and not getting on. You need to foster, you know, togetherness. And if they can truly see that you love the person, that you're open and honest, that you're openly sharing your love, and you're not hiding some secret from them, and you're not being shameful or ashamed of this woman and what you're doing with her. If they can see you're happy, you're open, you're honest, and your friends can see you're like that, then it's going to bode a lot more well for you. Guys who are younger, who are just having a female for sex, you know, they don't want to show their woman to their family because it's not a long-term commitment. They're just after the sex, casual sex. Some older women might like that, but there's a lot of older women that also want serious committed relationships with younger guys. And you know, you've got to decide what you want, and also make sure that the person that you are interested in dating or being in a relationship with wants the same things as you. Even if there's an age gap, you need to make sure you're still having the same goals, you know, for the relationship, for where you want to head in life. And that's the only difficulty when you're having an age gap relationship, is if you're the younger guy, for example, wants to go off traveling around the world, and the older woman's very set where she is, and she wants to settle down with a guy where she lives, and he wants to go all around the world. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to work out. In that particular scenario, I'd recommend the guy go around the world in the first place, but be aware he might lose that woman forever. And if that woman's more important to him than in going around the world, then he should be with the woman. She might not mind him going around the world, but I'm guessing she'll still want a lot of contact with him, and she probably will not want a whole year apart from him because she could be dating other guys, you know? I think most women would want regular contact with a guy and would want to have physical dates and see that person in person. And so it's probably better for you to just separate your separate ways and you go and do whatever you want to do with your life and leave her be. And then if she's still available, then you would approach her, because no good approaching her and as an older woman for a relationship if you've not got your shit together, to be quite frank with you. You know, you need to know exactly what you want in the relationship, whether you want it to be just sex or casual or short term or long term. You need to be giving some value to the older woman as well. Like, what is she getting out of the relationship? Does she like your humor? Do you make her feel special? Are you quite an old-fashioned younger guy who likes to pull her chair out for her, who likes to open doors for her, who likes to take her on dates? Can you be that older guy that she needs you to be in terms of your soul and maturity, but still young enough for her to be quite excited and feel fresh and re-energized and invigorated by you, you know? Because that's what a lot of older women like in young guys. They find them exciting and refreshing and invigorating and vibrant and energetic. And the younger guy usually likes the older woman because she's more settled and calm usually and collected and knows what she wants. So these two energies kind of complement each other usually, you know? But you need to be mature and strong enough that you can actually have a serious committed relationship with an older woman if that's what you want, you know, rather than just casual sex. And this will require, like I said, you making sure your parents know. And obviously she's going to be mature enough to not care what her parents think, you know, because if she's an older woman interested in younger guys and having a serious relationship with one, she's already going to not care what her parents think. That's a major difference. A younger guy could get worried about what his parents think, and because he's very self-conscious and he's kind of worried about society more. When an older woman gets to a certain age, she doesn't give a toss what the society thinks and doesn't care about what other people think. She's quite carefree like that, you know? And that can be quite refreshing to the younger guy, because it comes back to confidence and self-esteem, and she's got plenty of that, you know, and so he can be very, very attracted to that, you know. And you know, it's better to be in a relationship with someone really who has got confidence and self-esteem than someone that you have to keep bringing up all the time because their self-esteem's so low, you know. But in any case, you should be making that person feel good about themselves in the relationship, no matter what age group you're with, because we're here in relationships to enhance them and make them feel better, not make a person feel worse than it. Right? That's why if you're a younger guy who's not really into older women, don't start pursuing older women just for the sake of it, because you know there's no point, right? It's just worthless point in time unless you can specifically get for a woman to agree to you having just casual sex with her because that's what she wants. Otherwise, if she's looking for a serious relationship and you're not, don't waste her time. Older women hate time wasters, and they are literally going to see through you and that you're wasting her time just by the things you write and say and do, and she'll be just like, I'm out of here, you know. So if you are going to be with an older woman, you still need to take charge sometimes. Don't expect her to mother you, because one thing that older women usually doesn't like a lot of the time is to mother a guy. Some older women do, but if they're a career orientated woman, a lot of the time they won't want a younger guy to mother. They'll want an equal, a guy who's bringing energy to the table, a guy who's bringing his own money to the table, a guy who's got his own house or car, or preferably than living at home with his parents. Even if he rents a place, you know, she will expect him to have a degree of independence, because you know, if he lives at home with his parents and she's been left home for years, it's kind of going to feel a bit off and weird. But even so, it could still work out if the younger guy was prepared to tell his parents and she was prepared to put up with the fact that he still lives at home with them, right? You know, it's kind of be a very weird setup, really. If you're a younger guy likes older women, you should have your own place, be able to take care of yourself, look after yourself, physically, emotionally, and mentally, and so that you're a strong enough match for the older woman. because an older woman needs someone who doesn't bullshit around, who's steadfast, who's strong, who knows what he wants, got direction in his life, got his career pretty much sorted out, and got his shit together. And she doesn't really want to be dealing with emotional baggage. I've come across younger guys and they just still after their ex, and it's like, well, I'm not interested. Or better things to be doing with my time. And I find that a lot of the younger guys I come across, they just want sex, and that really doesn't interest me. I'm all about a person's personality, soul, intelligence. And I like younger guys' energy usually because a lot of them are studying. I'm into personal professional development. So as we both like growing ourselves, for me, that's a very, very important quality, So you've got to think, if you're a younger guy into older women, like what qualities do you look for in an older woman? I suggest you write a list down of your top 10 qualities in an older woman. So you've got sort of a map to work to when you are dating or looking to get into a relationship. Otherwise, you're kind of going blind, And also what I should advise you to do as well is make sure you've got the deal breakers written down. Like, do you want marriage? Do you want kids? These are two of the most important deal breakers, and to live together, right? Don't assume just because someone's an older woman that they will have had all their children. Some older women are literally at a stage where they want kids because their biological clock is ticking and time is running out for them to have kids. So they might be looking for a younger guy who's obviously very fit, got a higher sperm count maybe, more sexually active, more likely to be able to fertilize her egg, if you know what I mean, than an older guy or guy around her age, and someone who's going to be like a more energetic husband or father. And so don't think that just because a woman's older she's have all her children by then. Some women have had all their children, or they decide they don't want children, and therefore they won't want children with you. And that's a very important thing to know, because if you are a younger guy that does want children and the older woman's had all her kids or doesn't want them, that's going to be an ultimate barrier where you're going to have to split up, right? So, but you mustn't assume anything. Always ask the older woman, like, what life is like for her. What is her goals for the next year to 5 years? What is she hoping to achieve out of the connection with you? What type of relationship is she looking for? Casual sex, short term, long term, if you don't already know that. What things have you got that you might have in common that you can talk about? Music, movies, lifestyle, values. Values are one of the most important things in a relationship. You need to have same sort of morals and values and beliefs. That these are like the crux of a relationship, right? And the feelings. Obviously, there needs to be some attraction there as well. But you can't base a relationship just on attraction. There has to be like proper concrete things where you're going to be able to grow together in the relationship and have similar ideology that works together, right? Many people get into a relationship and they don't have a clue what they're actually doing because the sexual attraction has become so prominent that it's a very physical thing. And when they break the relationship down into like tinier chunks of what's working, what's not, they find that after the sex, there isn't so much more that actually is good or is working. And they rush into things based on sexual attraction, which isn't healthy, right? It's what a lot of people do, but it's not actually a healthy way to start a relationship or to go on in a relationship. You need to be really finding out what you have in common and how you would like the relationship to progress. Because if you don't even know that, you're heading nowhere. It's like, you hit a tennis ball and you've just hit into the sky, not know where it's going to land. And it could one day smack you back on the head. You don't want to be doing that. You don't want to leave any tennis balls to chance, as it were, if you pardon the pun. Right? You need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, how long you're doing it for, and what your long-term goals are. So if, for example, she's doing a certain job, you're still studying, how long's your study going to be? Like, are you going to be able to like move in with her? Is that what she wants? Or is she a person that's like, I've got my own place, you get yours, like I said, if her biological clock is ticking and she hasn't got long till she can have kids physically left, in her life, she'll want a guy who's ready to have kids. Like, give me a family now, you know? I've met women like this. So, you know, it's very important that you know your priorities in your life and your priorities in a potential relationship or a relationship, so that you can both be on the same hymn page. You do not want to be having conflicting views about important matters like kids and marriage and a home life together or not, because if you do, it's just going to cause unrest and you're just going to be, you know, kind of like not getting on. Right, so all this stuff should be sorted out at the beginning, not further down the road, because you've allowed the sexual energy to take over so much and the passion, right? So, and younger guys with older women can be a very, very passionate dynamic, very, very passionate, because it's just like, although age doesn't matter, it kind of like is a turn on usually for a older woman to be interested in a younger guy and vice versa. It's kind of a little bit more maybe taboo, a little bit more exciting. The dynamic's very energetic. You know, with the guy who's kind of like young and vibrant and energetic, and the older woman who's kind of really experienced and can bring a lot of experience to the table. It's kind of a very, very powerful dynamic, especially sexually, you know? But even in terms of passion without the sex, for example, you know, the kissing, the touching, all that type of thing, it can be very, very kind of beautiful combination, like a beautiful painting. And so, you know, a lot of the world is changing still and evolving, but I still feel women are given more of a hard time if they're in relationships with younger guys. But younger guys more and more seem to be going for older women for all the reasons I've mentioned. And I'm sure there's a lot more reasons that I haven't mentioned as well. So if you are a young guy who's in a relationship with an older woman and you're watching this right now, please, please, please do comment below how it's working out. I'd love to hear from you. If you're if you're a woman who's older and you're with a younger guy, comment below. So whether you're an older woman with a younger guy or a younger guy with an older woman and you're in a relationship, please comment below. I'd love to know what you think. You know, what attracts you to each other? Please comment down below. It's great to get this community sharing ideas of each other so we can help each other out to live more passionately, have more sensuality and satisfaction in our dating relationships. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you do. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live and I post a new video. Lots of love, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.